Before this story begins, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it. Because stories like this deserve to be heard.
Now tell me one thing. What would you do if an entire courtroom laughed at your pain and the people in power enjoyed it? This is not just a story. This is what happens when the system chooses the rich
and crushes the poor. The courtroom was cold.
Not because of the air conditioning,
but because compassion had already left the room. Polished wooden benches gleamed under bright white lights. Men in tailored suits whispered confidently to one another. Women in elegant dresses sat with their legs crossed, calm, composed, untouchable. And then there was her.
She stood alone.
No lawyer beside her.
No family behind her. No confidence to lean on.
Her dress was faded. Her shoes were worn thin at the heels. Her hands trembled, not from guilt, but from fear.
The bailiff announced her name. A few heads turned.
Then came the smirks.
Someone in the back chuckled.
The sound spread like poison. She felt it immediately. That familiar burn of being judged before being heard. Across the room sat the people accusing her.
The Kensington family. Old money. New power.
A business empire built on steel, oil, and silence. Their lead attorney stood up slowly, adjusting his cufflinks with practiced ease. His voice was calm, polished, and cruel.
"Your Honor," he said.
"This woman fabricated an entire story to extort money from my clients." He didn't look at her when he spoke.
"She claims emotional distress. Claims past involvement. Claims entitlement."
He paused. "But what she truly is a liar who underestimated the intelligence of this court."
Laughter. Not loud. Not obvious. But enough. Her chest tightened.
She tried to speak, but the words got stuck behind her teeth. The judge leaned forward, expression unreadable.
"Do you have representation?" he asked.
She shook her head.
"No, Your Honor." Another ripple of amusement passed through the room.
The attorney smiled faintly. The kind of smile people wear when they know they've already won. "Let's be honest," the attorney continued, now louder.
"People like her don't just walk into successful families with claims like these unless they're desperate." Desperate.
The word hit her harder than any insult. She clenched her fists.
People like her. She wanted to scream. Instead, she whispered, "I just want the truth to be heard."
The judge sighed. "Truth requires evidence," he said flatly.
"Not emotion."
Power spoke.
Weakness was dismissed.
The attorney approached the center of the courtroom.
"Your Honor," he said.
"This case is a waste of judicial resources. My clients have already suffered reputational damage by merely being associated with this accusation."
He turned, finally looking at her. Cold eyes. Sharp smile. Some people mistake kindness for opportunity. Her knees weakened.
She remembered the night she didn't eat so her child could.
The job applications never answered.
The letters returned unopened.
None of that mattered here. Because money had already decided the outcome.
"Is there any evidence you'd like to submit?" the judge asked her.
She swallowed.
"Yes," she said softly.
I have documents." The attorney laughed out loud this time. "Documents?" He raised an eyebrow. "From where? A drawer? A dream?"
The courtroom joined him.
Humiliation wrapped around her like chains.
She reached into her bag with shaking hands.
Pulled out a thin folder. Worn edges. Yellowed pages. The clerk took it reluctantly. Flipped through. Then shook his head. "These are copies," he said. "No originals."
The judge frowned.
"Copies are not admissible." Her breath caught. "But I was told." "Who told you?" the judge interrupted. She opened her mouth. No answer came. Because the person who promised to help her never showed up. The attorney smiled again. A victory smile. This is exactly what we warned the court about, he said. False hope. False documents. False accusations. He turned to the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, ask yourselves. If she truly had a case, would she be standing here alone? That question lingered. And it poisoned everything. The judge leaned back. I'm inclined to dismiss. Please, she blurted out. The room froze. Her voice cracked. I'm not lying, she said, louder now. I know what they did. I lived it. The attorney scoffed. Stories, he said. Nothing more. The judge raised his hand. One final chance, he said sharply. Do you have anything that can change this court's direction? She looked down at her hands. Empty. Her heart sank. This was it. The system had spoken. The rich were protected. The poor were disposable. And just as the judge opened his mouth to end everything, the courtroom doors creaked open. Every head turned. A man stood there, out of breath. Her eyes widened. Hope flickered. Just for a second, the courtroom doors creaked louder as the man stepped inside. Every whisper stopped. Even the attorney from the Kensington family turned, annoyed, not worried. Power rarely worries. The man looked ordinary. Mid-40s. Cheap suit. Sweat on his forehead as if he had run to get there. Her heart leapt. This was him. The one who promised. The one who said, I'll come. I swear. For the first time that day, Hope dared to breathe. Your Honor, the man said, voice shaking slightly, I apologize for the interruption. The judge frowned. This court does not tolerate. I'm here as a witness, the man blurted out. For the woman. A murmur rushed through the courtroom. Her knees almost gave way, not from fear this time, but relief. The attorney's smile stiffened. Just slightly. State your name, the judge said. The man did. He cleared his throat. I worked for Kensington Industries. 15 years. That did it. The courtroom leaned in. Even the judge straightened. The attorney recovered quickly, stepping forward with confidence. Former employee, he corrected smoothly. Terminated for misconduct. The word terminated landed like a slap. The man swallowed. I was laid off, he said. Along with hundreds of others. The attorney laughed softly. Your Honor, he said, spreading his hands. This is exactly what we warned you about. Disgruntled ex-employees coming forward with convenient memories. The judge raised a brow. What is your testimony? He asked the man. The man looked at her. She nodded. Tell them, she whispered. He inhaled deeply. I can confirm that she knew the Kensington family years ago. A gasp. The attorney stiffened. Objection, he snapped. Relevance. The judge held up a hand. Continue. Hope surged in her chest. The man went on. She wasn't a stranger. She worked closely with. The attorney stepped closer. Worked, he repeated sharply. As what? A cleaner? A secretary? The courtroom chuckled again. The man hesitated. His eyes flaked toward the Kensington family. Toward their cold stares. Toward their power. She assisted on some internal matters, he said vaguely. The judge frowned. That's not specific. The attorney smiled. Because it's not true. He turned to the man. Isn't it a fact, he said calmly, that you signed a non-disclosure agreement upon leaving the company? The man froze. Silence. Her heart skipped. Yes, the man admitted quietly. And isn't it also true, the attorney continued, that violating that agreement carries severe financial penalties? The man's jaw tightened. Yes. The attorney nodded. There we have it. He turned to the judge. This witness cannot legally testify without incriminating himself. The judge sighed. That is correct. Her chest tightened. But, she whispered. He knows. The judge cut her off. Hope is not evidence, he said. The man looked at her helplessly. I'm sorry, he mouthed. And just like that, the hope collapsed. The attorney returned to his seat, victorious. The judge leaned forward again. This court cannot rely on incomplete testimony, he said. I am giving you one last opportunity. Her vision blurred. One last opportunity for what? She asked. To provide admissible proof. Her hands trembled. She reached into her bag again, desperately. Pulled out photographs. Letters. Bank slips. Memories turned into paper. The clerk glanced at them briefly. Then shook his head. These do not establish ownership, authority, or wrongdoing. Each word felt like a nail. The attorney stood once more. Your Honor, he said. This has gone on long enough. He looked at her directly now. This woman has humiliated herself. She has humiliated the court. The word humiliated echoed. She should be grateful we're not countersuing for defamation. A chill ran through her spine. Countersuing. They could ruin her completely. The judge nodded slowly. I am inclined to agree. Her world tilted. The man who came to help lowered his head. The people who laughed earlier now watched with bored expressions. As if her life were a dull performance. This court finds no merit. Wait, she said suddenly. Her voice was steady. Stronger than she felt. Everyone turned. The judge paused. What is it now? He asked. She looked at the man. At the attorney. At the people who had enjoyed breaking her. I was told, she said slowly, that justice was blind. The attorney smirked. But today, she continued. It sees money very clearly. The courtroom stirred. The judge's jaw tightened. Careful, he warned. She nodded. I understand. She reached into her bag one last time. Pulled out something small. An old envelope. Worn. Creased. Untouched. The attorney laughed. More paper? He asked. She ignored him. This, she said softly, holding it up, is not evidence. The judge blinked. Then what is it? She met his eyes. It's the truth. The courtroom quieted. The attorney scoffed. Truth without proof is meaningless. She nodded again. You're right. She handed the envelope to the clerk. But proof, she added, comes from the past. The clerk hesitated. The judge leaned forward. Open it. The attorney's smile faltered. Just barely. The clerk opened the envelope. Pulled out a single document. Then another. His face changed. Slowly. Your Honor, he said. The judge reached for the papers. The courtroom held its breath. The attorney stepped forward. Objection. The judge raised a hand. Silence. He scanned the first page. Then the second. Then stopped. His face drained of color. The attorney noticed. For the first time that day, fear crossed his eyes. The judge looked up. Directly at her. Where did you get this? He asked quietly. She swallowed. From the only place they couldn't erase, she said. The truth. The judge closed the file. The courtroom waited. And waited.
Then he said the words that froze everyone. "We will take a brief recess." The courtroom doors closed behind the judge. Recess. A single word, yet it changed the air completely. People whispered now, not with amusement, but with unease. The Kensington family sat stiff in their seats. The attorney leaned toward them, whispering urgently, his confidence cracking at the edges. She remained standing. Still. Silent. Her hands no longer trembled. For the first time since she had entered that courtroom, she felt something unfamiliar but powerful. Control. 15 minutes passed. They felt longer than the entire trial. When the judge returned, the room rose. This time, no one laughed. No one breathed. The judge sat, adjusted his glasses, and looked directly at the Kensington family. "Before we continue," he said calmly, "I have a question." The attorney straightened. "Yes, Your Honor?" The judge held up the document from the envelope. "Is this signature authentic?" The attorney hesitated. Just a fraction of a second. "Enough." "I would need to verify," he said. The judge nodded. "Already done." A ripple went through the courtroom. "This document," the judge continued, "was verified during recess through independent records." He turned the page. "It establishes ownership." The attorney swallowed. The Kensington patriarch leaned forward. "Ownership of what?" he demanded. The judge finally looked at her again. "Of the company you claimed she had no connection to." Gasps erupted. The judge's voice remained steady. "This document proves that the woman standing before this court was not an outsider." He paused. "She was a co-founder." Silence exploded. The word hung in the air, heavy, undeniable. Co-founder. The attorney jumped to his feet. "This is absurd," he snapped. "She has no." The judge cut him off. "She relinquished public association," he said. "But not ownership." He flipped another page. "These documents show that her name was deliberately removed from all visible records after a private agreement." The courtroom buzzed. The Kensington matriarch stood up. "That agreement was mutual," she said sharply. The judge looked at her. "Was it?" he asked. He lifted another document. "Because this one indicates coercion." The attorney's face drained of color. "This agreement was signed," the judge continued, "after threats of legal destruction, financial ruin, and the loss of custody of a child." Every head snapped toward her. Her breath caught, but she did not look away. The judge's voice hardened. "That is not negotiation," he said. "That is abuse of power." The courtroom erupted. The bailiff called for order. The attorney stammered now. "Your Honor, even if this were true." The judge raised a hand. "I am not finished." He turned another page. "This final document," he said, "contains a clause that was never activated." The attorney whispered. "No." The judge looked up. "A contingency clause." He read aloud. "In the event of fraudulent removal or misrepresentation of ownership, full authority immediately reverts to the undersigned." He placed the document down. "And it was signed by her." The judge looked at her. "Is that correct?" She nodded once. "Yes." The Kensington patriarch slammed his hand on the bench. "This is manipulation," he shouted. The judge did not flinch. "This," he replied coldly, "is consequence." The attorney sank back into his seat. Defeated. The judge turned to the courtroom. "Let it be known," he said, "that this court recognizes the woman before us as the rightful co-owner of Kensington Industries." A gasp. A shockwave. Her knees weakened, not from fear, but from relief so deep it hurt. The judge continued.
The court also finds sufficient evidence of fraud, coercion, and abuse of authority by the defendants.
He paused. And therefore,
the room leaned in.
This case is not dismissed. Silence. It is reversed. The people who once laughed now stared in disbelief. The powerful were standing not in dominance, but in panic. The judge looked at her again.
Do you wish to speak? He asked gently.
She shook her head.
No, Your Honor.
The courtroom waited. She took a breath.
I've spoken enough, she said softly.
That was it. No anger. No speech. No revenge. Just truth. The judge nodded. Very well. He turned to the defendants. You will remain seated, he said sharply. Until further instruction. Public humiliation settled in. Cameras clicked. Whispers turned into headlines. The bailiff approached her. You're free to go, he said quietly. She stepped forward. As she passed the Kensington family, none of them looked at her. They couldn't. Because power, once exposed, cannot hide. She reached the courtroom doors. Paused. Turned back. For the first time, everyone listened. I didn't come here for money, she said. I came here because silence was killing me. She looked around. Today, it finally stopped. Then she walked out. No applause followed. Just stunned silence. Justice does not roar. It lands. Outside, sunlight hit her face. She closed her eyes. And for the first time in years, she smiled.